Hello and welcome to The Seventh Rule. I am your host, Ryan T. Husk. That is Jarrod Cooper, super producer. We have your stars, Aron Eisenberg and Cirroc Lofton here as always. And they're radical.
Hello, hello.
Today, we are going to talk about gatekeeping. It's going to be a really important show. You all know about it, gatekeeping. It's in a lot of fandoms, especially this one. We're also going to talk about Picard for a little bit, and we're going to talk about Discovery a little later on. So hang on, hold on, and
be strong.
We'll be right back with the seventh rule. Hello and welcome back to The Seventh Rule with your stars, Cirroc Lofton and Aron Eisenberg. My name is Ryan T. Husk. That there is Max Headroom.
That's me.
Oh, I like your beanie, Aron.
Yeah, put that down, please.
It's very Rastafarian.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about gatekeeping. We're going to talk about Discovery a little later on in the show. But first, a word from Cirroc Lofton.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Trinity Comics Convention Services. They attend over 30 comic conventions a year and have the biggest private signings with some of the biggest celebrities and comic creators in the world. They offer COAs and certifications through CGC and CBCS. Make sure to visit them online, www.trinitycomics.com.
Trinity-comics.com. Check it out. That's our good buddy there. Thanks.
Thanks for adding that dash for me, buddy.
Well, we can also put in the link below. You know, no problem there. We're always adding a link.
Well done, Cirroc. That was good. I'd say print that.
Print that. All right.
So,
Judy Brown.
Before we get to the gatekeeping, just quick bit of Picard news. That is supposed to be shooting in 1 week. April 14th is when they're supposed to start filming in Santa Clarita, California. That is April 14th on a Sunday.
Did you get a call, Cirroc? Are you working?
No, I don't come in until the 21st. So
and we still have a couple casting announcements that haven't been made yet. So we should be getting like 3 or 4 in the next week or two.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. We've only got 3 so far, and they've got like a main cast of like 7 or 8, like that.
I didn't get a phone call. I'm very disappointed.
Well, I'm expecting it, so it's coming soon. I just know that the 21st is when I'll be available for whatever scenes they need me to do.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, Aron, tell us about gatekeeping.
Well, I was actually hoping you Jarrod.
Oh, yeah. Jarrod, what is the official term? What is the official definition of gatekeeping?
I don't think there's like a dictionary definition, but it's what it is bluntly is fans who feel for some reason entitled or empowered to belittle. I don't want to say belittle.
Hello.
But to make like certain qualifications that dictate what makes someone a fan of something versus what means they aren't.
In other words, when it's kind of like the no true Scotsman fallacy, you know, when they say like, oh, no real fan would like Enterprise, or if you know, or you wouldn't, if you like the JJ movies, then you're not a true fan, or Discovery's not real Star Trek, and anybody that likes it is not a real fan. That's basically,
it's like elitism.
It's basically saying, it's like othering, saying, you know, we hold the nugget. We're the ones that are able to say what is real Star Trek or what is a real fan, and it's not you.
Yeah, and to me, it's a bit of form of bullying and controlling and making others feel less than because they like something that you deem is not worth liking, or it's less than because they don't have the experience of watching as much of something or being a part of something as much as you did. Therefore, they are less than you and not worthy of truly calling themselves a fan or being a part of something because they don't share as much of the world that you do, the world of what it is and what we're talking about, Star Trek. And what inspired me to talk about this, to be on this show today, and to ask you guys if you wanted to discuss it, was I actually saw a tweet where somebody said, and luckily I don't remember the name of the person, which is good, because I wouldn't say it if I did. But he basically said, if you are a fan of this show because you only saw the J.J. Abrams movies, then you are not truly a fan. And it bothered me because it's really not how we should be with each other and with people new coming into the show. If somebody just happened to watch one of his movies and go, wow, that was a lot of fun, I love this movie, and then watches the next one and then the next one and becomes a fan of Star Trek, they should be greeted with open arms and say, welcome to this amazing world. Now check out TNG, check out Voyager, check out Enterprise, and oh, you've got to watch the original series. And it doesn't matter whether you are fans of those shows, because ultimately what I believe is we're all fans of the world of Star Trek. We may like one show more than the other, or we may be more critical of this one versus that one, but it's kind of like, you know, people say, like, one of them was on DS9. Did I experience that? And I'm sure Cirroc has stories of experiencing that at cons too. And people would put down DS9, and I would say, you know, you're not looking at it for what it's giving you, which is you have this wonderful jewel that is Star Trek. And in that jewel, there's different parts of it. There's different ways to look into it. There's different facets of that jewel. And all you're doing is looking at that one little spot going, oh, that's that diamond. That's that jewel. And you're not seeing the other side where the sun is now coming in and showing you the orange and these different colors and looking at it going, oh, but that's really beautiful. I didn't see that side of it. And that's what I would tell people in the early days of DS9. And I think we should discuss this a little bit, and maybe we have some ideas of how to move past it, or maybe there's just going to be those people, you know?
Cirroc, what do you think?
I think that that this kind of conversation is indicative of a certain kind of energy that exists in the universe, an energy of parallels. And so just as you have the polarity of north and south, or magnetic poles, you have a parallel of tradition and people who are trying to write the future and make a new way. And you always have that pull against each other. And I think, you know, you experience it with music, you experience it with art or with literature, and you can experience it in so many different ways. But I think what you have is people that are adhering to the tradition of it, the more long, linear, standing belief systems, and then the people that are trying to push the boundary and expand those belief systems. And you have that in politics with the left and the right, and you have that with with the way people have their own belief systems, whether it's religion or relationships. And so, you know, now as we go into a space in which we try to define or redefine relationships, sexual preferences, identity, and religious beliefs, we're going to enter into a sphere in where people will push the boundaries or challenge the past and the status quo of the past. And then you will have those people that want to hold on to the past and want to remind those people of the traditional cultural values that have stood the test of time for so many years. So I see it in that form, Aaron. I see it as in that kind of form of this kind of dichotomy between two energies of polarity. I think it's, you know, I can't say which one is right or wrong, because that's how we have progress, by challenging the status quo. And yet you have also tradition and culture by having a history and a past. So they're both valuable in kind of society.
But okay, then I'm struggling to see the value of someone telling another person your opinion or your joy or you're calling yourself a fan of X isn't of value because you haven't enjoyed it as much as I have, or you haven't seen all of that from the past, or you're not really a fan because you like this, and this is not Star Trek.
I wonder how much.
Hold on, Jarrod. Hold on, and then go. And then I'm almost done. I won't talk too long because that to me isn't bringing in two sides. It's not debating and talking about something. It's basically saying you're not worthy to be part of this world because what you like.
Well, first let me say that anytime an attack is personal, I don't condone it. So anybody attacking somebody personally or what their belief system is personally, I don't condone it. Those are put me downs and ways to try to disparage people. I don't agree with that. But there is a logical argument which could be had in which you can discuss ideologies and principles and start to come into an agreement on whether one idea is more preferred than another. Or, for example, what is the basis of the thought that behind that statement? So you're not such and such. You're not this kind of a person. You're not a true Star Trek fan unless you've seen all the other things.
Mm-hmm.
What is the sentiment behind that? The sentiment is, well, there's this entire bulk of information, and you're picking out one piece of it and claiming to have an understanding of the whole when you do not, because you've only seen the J.J. Abrams version of it. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think there is some valid merit to the underlying sentiment to what somebody is saying when they say you don't have a complete understanding of it. But
I agree that.
putting people down for liking something, which is essentially what I think is one of the main focus of what you're saying. Putting somebody down for liking something, for saying, "Hey, look, I like Voyager," and people, for people attacking them for their likes and dislikes or for when they entered into the universe is not really a fair way to kind of introduce people or to invite people to get to know more about the universe, which is what you probably ultimately want them to know.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think there's a kinder way of doing it, and with the internet, which is why I don't engage in the internet as much as other people.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's one
That's
of
the only reason.
No, that's not the only reason. There's other reasons, but is that people take things out of context. Even a text message, for example,
Sure.
can be taken out of context. I can text you something, and without the actual emphasis on the vowels and the sentences, it can read several different ways.
Correct. That's absolutely true.
Right.
Let's hear what
Misunderstandings.
Let's hear what Jarrod was going to say.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I wonder if how much of this gatekeeping is people and their inability to deal with change.
That's right.
Let's sit for a second, because if I became a fan of Star Trek and I watched the original series and I fell in love with it and that show was mine, that experience was mine, and now Next Generation comes out and you've got an entire different way of telling stories, and there are people that are enjoying it just as much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. So I'm going to sit here and say that the experience that you are having watching that show is not the same that it is that I had doing mine. And it almost has to come down to target markets. I mean, if you make a TV show that a certain percentage of people are loving every week, there's a certain percentage of people that are hating it every week too. Mm-hmm. So as a franchise, I think Star Trek has done good with Deep Space Nine, Discovery, because you're hitting all sorts of target demographics, which is great. And you've got sure, they can say whatever they want about the JJ movies, but the JJ movies have done a whole lot for fandom over the past couple of years. The people that was the first thing that they saw, and then they went back and saw Deep Space Nine, Next Gen, original series, whatever. We're getting the same thing with Discovery right now. There's a whole group of people that Discovery is their first Trek. Does that make their experience any less than what mine or Ryan's was back in the day? No. But I think
Cirroc is saying there's the yin and the yang, there's the dichotomy. Jarrod, we see you, you're back. You're also explaining the dichotomy of it and why. And Aron is saying, yeah, I see that dichotomy, but we should leave people alone to like what they want to like and not be dicks about it. And now I'm going to add to that and say that there's also another side of that, and again, I mentioned this a lot of times. I run the biggest Discovery group in the world, so I see what's going on in the world of Discovery fans, and I see more gatekeeping from the Discovery fans outward. Like anybody that has any criticism about Discovery, they say, oh, I didn't really like that scene, or oh, I don't really like that actor as much. The Discovery fans jump on them like jackals, saying, you're not a real fan then. You're not if you don't like Discovery, you're not a true fan. And so what that shows is that, obviously it's not just one-sided, but it's just some kind of human condition to where if this is what a person likes, they think that if somebody likes something else, then they're wrong. And the way of saying they're wrong is, well, you're not a true fan, or you're not right, or you don't know what you're talking about. And, and it goes in all fandoms. We see it in Star Wars, Cirroc and I see it in sports all day long. I'm a big, Warriors basketball fan. And the fans are always saying, if you don't like this guy, you're not a real fan, or real fans think that their team is going to win every day. And we're like, you don't think your team's going to win every day. You hope, but you don't think, anyway. So dumb things like that. And that's just, it seems like it's human nature, but so we're not going to change that. But what we can change. So what? You don't have to attack them. You don't have to hate them. You can talk about it, but like it's another form of othering. What they say is othering, just saying.
So if you can articulate your position,
and they're wrong. Yeah.
If you can articulate your position without putting somebody else down, I think then you can have a debate, you can have a discussion.
That's right.
But as soon as you become personal and you start to attack people for whatever their belief systems are, then you've entered into a different realm, and that's a realm of bullying that Aron is talking about. And I don't think that it's necessary to bully. I think we can have a kind of really intelligent, and that's the beauty of Star Trek, is that it's intelligent. So it is supposed to bring out the intelligence in us and allow us to be intelligent as we articulate our position on whatever it is we want to talk about.